With that, let's get started on our backs in Supta Baddha Konasana. So come onto your mat. You can bring the soles of your feet to touch. Your knees can come out wide. Just going to get my headphones in. Like I said, come down onto your back. Your knees come out wide, butterflying alongside you. If you have any trouble hearing me at any point, please let me know. The soles of your feet touching and pressing together is what allows your knees to fall open with gravity. So no need to force anything. We're just starting class. Your body's probably still adjusting to any type of movement, any type of stretching. So be gentle. You can place one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart if you'd like. And just notice where your breath is falling today. So part of yoga, part of the importance of this practice for me personally is practicing mindfulness. And one way to begin cultivating that mindfulness is just by noticing where your breath falls. So maybe you're breathing into your belly today. Maybe your belly is expanding and contracting as you breathe. Maybe you're breathing into your heart. Maybe you feel your rib cage, your heart expand with every breath. Maybe you're breathing into your sides. Maybe you're blowing up through the side every time you breathe. Wherever it is, just notice without judgment, and then let it go. On your next inhale, fill up through all three spaces. So inhale through your belly, fill up your side bodies, fill up your heart. Audible exhale out. Another inhale, fill up your belly, fill up your side bodies, fill up your heart. Exhale, release. One more time. Deepest yet, fill up your entire belly, both side bodies. Fill up your whole heart, your whole chest. Audible exhale, let it go. Begin to stay with your full inhales and exhales on your own, with your own rhythm, your own pace. If you'd like to cultivate more heat in your practice, you can exhale with your lips sealed, creating a deep oceanic sound in the back of your throat. If at any point you need to release heat, just go ahead and exhale through your mouth. This is your practice, your time, and your space. So please do whatever serves you here today, whatever your body is calling for. And with that mindfulness, as you're focused on your breath, your mind probably still wanders, especially in static postures like this one where we're not moving actively. Notice if your thoughts are going to what was happening before class or maybe straying to what's still to come. Just notice without judgment and then let it go. Come back to your breath. Your breath is your centering force, your guide through your practice. So whenever your mind starts to wander, just come back to those inhales, come back to those exhales. Gently bring your hands to the outsides of your knees and close your knees like a book. And then hug your knees into your chest. Begin to rock side to side. Maybe massaging your lower back. You can take some circles with your knees. Always moving with your breath. If you circle in one direction, go ahead and circle in the other. And all these options I give you, all these cues, all these things I tell you to do with your body, they are merely suggestions. So if at any point you want to do something else, if you ever just decide you just need to lay on your mat for the rest of class, that is fine. I highly encourage that. This is your practice, your space, so do what feels good in your body. As you feel ready, bring your hands behind your knees. Begin to rock and roll the length of your spine, maybe 2 or 3 times. Have some fun with it, and then come up to a seated position. If crisscross is your comfortable seat, notice if one foot is always in front of the other. So I always naturally put my right foot in front. Switch it. See how that feels in your body. Maybe that's completely different. Maybe it feels exactly the same. And then bring your hands onto your thighs, palms down to ground or up to receive. You can soften your gaze or close your eyes if you'd like. Inhale here. Exhale, drop your right ear towards your right shoulder. And inhale, drop your head towards center. Exhale, left ear to left shoulder. Inhale, drop your head to center. Exhale, right ear, right shoulder. Go ahead and continue your own pace, your own breath. Just waking up through our neck. Maybe releasing some of that tension we create by sitting all day, staring at screens. Feel your sides of your neck, the back of your neck lengthening, releasing. And this might be really intense for some of us. If that's the case, maybe you don't go as far. Just stay with your breath. Notice the sticky points and breathe into those spots to help it release. As you feel ready, you can begin to take full circles with your neck if that feels good in your body. Maybe you even take circles with your entire torso, going forward and back. Just starting to get some movement in our bodies. And then switch direction. Go the other way, just even yourself out. We always like to be as balanced as possible. Staying with your breath. Now, as you're ready, slowly come into a tabletop position. So you can just roll over your knees or find your way there however you'd like. Shoulders over your wrists, hips over your knees. Press the tops of your feet down into the mat. And then with your hands, really press into the pointer finger and thumb, that L shape that your thumb and pointer finger create. Press into that space to protect your wrists. If you're on carpet like I am, you might want to also press into the joint where your finger meets your palm to take the weight out of your wrists. Just be wary of that if you're on the carpet. Hug your belly button in. Inhale, cow pose. Drop your belly. Spread your collarbones wide. Imagine you're pulling your hands back towards your knees and your knees towards your hands. Feel your core engage. Inhale. Exhale, cat, round and curl through your spine. Press up between that space behind your heart. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. Flow through 2 times, breath to movement. Always moving at your own pace. There's lots of variations you can take here. So if it feels good, just stay right there in that cat-cow. If you'd like, you can begin to take some barrel rolls with your body, feeling the length through your sides. Maybe you drop your hips towards your heels. If you want a little wrist or forearm stretch, you can walk your fingers to point out or maybe back towards your knees. Feel that stretch through your wrists. Always keeping a slight bend in your elbows to make sure you're not hyperextending. All right, and then come back to your tabletop position, nice and strong, stable through your hands. Press into that L shape. Inhale, tuck your toes under. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hips go up and then back, reaching for the top corner of the room. Your biceps spiral in towards your ears to release your shoulders down. So the whole point of down dog is to lengthen your spine. It's actually not about your hamstrings and calves, even though those are naturally, for most of us, going to be tight, so you'll feel them here. You can bend into one knee, bend into the other, wake up the back of your legs, but then find your stillness as you're ready. Lift your hips high, so lengthening through your spine. Imagine I'm pulling your hips up towards the ceiling. Inhale, lift up onto your tiptoes. Feel how high your hips can go. Then exhale as you release your heels. Try to keep your hips that high. One more time. Inhale up onto your tiptoes. Exhale, release your heels. One deep inhale together. Fill up through all your parts. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, ragdoll pose. Walk your feet to meet your hands, and then feet come nice and wide, about hips width distance or wider, maybe even all the way out to the edges of your mat. Bend your knees super deeply and let your torso hang over your legs. You can grab for opposite elbow if you'd like. As you shift your weight into your toes, you can sway side to side if that feels good. Release your neck and head completely. So shake your head yes, shake your head no. Maybe you shake yes again, end on a positive. Feel your entire torso melting over your legs as your spine lengthens and releases. Where's your breath? Stay with it. Release your fingers down to the mat. And then toe heel your feet a little closer together. So you can either keep your feet hips width distance, or you can bring your big toes to touch a sliver of space between your heels. If you have any lower back pain, I suggest keeping your feet hips width distance. Get nice and rooted through all 4 corners of your feet. Feel all 10 toes pressed into the mat. And then on your longest inhale yet, roll all the way up to standing. Bone by bone, bit by bit. Head, neck, and shoulders come last. When you come up to the top, inhale, shrug your shoulders high. Exhale, release them down. Bring your hands to heart center. You can soften your gaze or close your eyes. Take a moment here to set your intention for class. Your intention can be the name of someone you want to send some love to. It can be whatever you need from your class today. So maybe you came to class to relax. Maybe that's your intention. Breath, stability, letting go. Maybe you came to class because you want to work out, you want to energize, you want to release all the energy in your body. If that's so, maybe your intention is joy, activity, whatever it is. Inhale here. Exhale, release through your mouth. One more deep breath and inhale your intention. Exhale, let it go. Blink your eyes open. Have a great class. Inhale, mountain pose. Biceps come to frame your ears as you root down through all 4 corners of your feet. So in your legs, how can your legs be a super strong root beneath you? So your thighs are so engaged that your kneecaps lift up off the mat. Then your shoulders are pressing down as you reach your arms up. Notice your tailbone. So some people will naturally sway their spine quite a bit. If that's you, pull your hip bones up towards your shoulders to tuck your pelvis. If you're the opposite and you tend to tuck quite a bit, see if you can push your hips back to find that neutral spine. Inhale here. Hold for your exhale. Pull your belly button back to your spine. Inhale. Exhale, baby back bend. Cactus your arms. Spread your collarbones wide. Imagine you're going up and over a huge beach ball behind you. So rather than shooting your hips forward and bending back, how can you lift up? Lift your heart up towards the ceiling. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Hands come through heart center. Hinge at your hips. Slight bend in your knees. And then shift your weight forward into your toes. Feel your hamstrings light up. Maybe you bend into one knee, bend into the other. Take whatever movements you need in your body. But continue to shift your weight into your toes. Deepens the stretch. Inhale, halfway lift. Place your palms on your shins or your thighs, wherever allows you to iron out through your spine. Have one flat back. And imagine I put a pencil between your shoulder blades and you would just squeeze it and it would stay right there as you're gazing over a cliff in front of you. So super long through your neck. Inhale here. Exhale, plant your hands, come into a high plank. Deep breath in. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale together. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, come through to a seat just for a moment. If you want to take an active seat, you're welcome to take a boat pose. Feel your core engage, but I'm just going to demo chaturangas up here, as I always do for our safety. We want to be doing it right. So we're going to flow through chaturangas quite a bit as a transition in our class. One option is the option we just did. So you come from your halfway lift, exhale, plant your palms. Then you hold your high plank nice and strong, pressing up through that space behind your heart. So notice I can dip my shoulder blades down or press up. We want to press up. Inhale here. Exhale, downward facing dog. That's one great option. Next option, you can inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high plank. Then you're going to hinge forward. So notice, take note of my elbows. I'm hinging forward so that my elbows stack over my wrists. Then I'm going to drop down to my knees, bend my elbows to 90 degrees, no more. My core is super engaged. Untuck your toes. Inhale, upward facing dog. Press into your hands and your feet. Notice my kneecaps are lifted off the mat to protect my lower back. Only 4 points of contact. Inhale here. Exhale, downward facing dog. Your last option, you can inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands. Now same thing, just off your knees. Notice my shoulders here. So we're going to inhale, hinge forward to stack your elbows. Then you're lowering with your tricep strength. You are not dropping through your shoulders. Inhale, untuck your toes, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Those are your options. You can take any of them throughout class. The reason I'm so strict about your shoulders, my mom was doing too many chaturangas, but lowering with her shoulder rather than her tricep. And now she has a rotator cuff injury. So that's not what we want. So practice on your knees first. If you're not feeling quite there, the knees is such a great place to start. Feel that engagement, okay? All right, let's flow 2 times breath to movement. We're gonna meet in a downward facing dog. Inhale here together. Exhale, let it go. Move at your own breath. My voice is just a guide. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, baby back bend. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, flow through whatever version of chaturanga you'd like. We just make our way to downward facing dog. Inhale here together. Exhale it out. We flow again. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, baby back bend. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands. Make your way to down dog, however you would like to get there. All right. Downward facing dog is where we meet. Inhale here. Audible exhale, let it go. Inhale, lift your right leg high, and then gaze at your toes behind you. So your right toes should be pointing directly down to make sure your hips are square. Then can you press through your left foot to kick your right leg back even more? Inhale here. Exhale, low lunge. Bring your knee towards your nose, and then your right foot steps between your hands. If you need to walk your right toes forward a little bit, that's fine. Just make sure your right knee is stacked directly over your right ankle. Spiral your back foot down to 45 degrees. Inhale, warrior 2. Lift your torso up, arms come out to a T. So with your stance, you want to find a heel to heel or a heel to arch alignment with your feet. And then with this front knee, I'm going to show you this way. With your front knee, rather than having it bend in towards your inner arch, spiral that front knee out towards the pinky side edge of your foot. So continue to spiral your right knee. That'll open through your hips, allow you to sink deeper in your warrior two. Gaze is directly over your front middle finger. Find your breath. Your arms are so strong that if I came around and pressed on down, they wouldn't move at all. Find your strength, find your purpose. Whatever your intention is, come back to it right here. Inhale, hinge forward. And then exhale, just moving your arms, tick-tock to 6 and 12, extended side angle. So you want to find one nice line from your head out through your back foot. And then can you engage through your right side oblique? So lift up through your right side body, little to no weight in this front bottom arm. Imagine my hand is right at your left shoulder blade. Inhale there. Exhale, twist open a little more through your chest. Yes. Here we are. Breathe with me. Stay in your lunge. Inhale, reverse warrior. Right arm comes up and then back. This is a side body stretch rather than a back bend. So your shoulders should stay square to the left side of your mat. Stay in your lunge in your front leg. I know, I'm feeling it too. And then bump your hips forward to find that length through your right side. Where's your breath? Where is your mind wandering? Inhale here. Exhale, windmill your hands down. Plant them, find your way to high plank, and then move through whatever chaturanga you'd like. We meet in downward facing dog. Nice work, everyone. Take one round of breath here, reset. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, lift your left toes high. Gaze at your back foot again. Make sure your left toes are pointing directly down. That means your hips are square. And then press through your right foot to kick your left foot even further back. So rather than high, which will probably make your hips come out of square, can you lift your left leg back, back, back? Inhale here. Exhale, low lunge. Left knee comes towards your nose. Left foot steps between your hands. Now again, you can walk your left toes forward so that your left knee is stacked over your left ankle. Spiral your back foot down to 45 degrees. With strong core, inhale, warrior two. Lift yourself up. Arms come out to a T. Find your lunge in your front leg. Now again, you don't want your knee caving in towards your left arch. Can you spiral your knee out towards your pinky toe without moving your foot? Super strong and stable through your arms, through your core. Find your breath. Imagine you're drawing your left heel back towards your back foot to light up through your entire left hamstring. Where's your intention? Where's your breath? Inhale, hinge forward with your torso. Exhale, arms come to 6 and 12, extended side angle. Try to keep that one line of energy from your head out your back foot. Lift up through your left side oblique to engage your core. And then imagine my hand at your right shoulder blade. Inhale to that space. Exhale, twist open a little more. Yes, you can. Stay in your lunge. Inhale, reverse warrior. Left arm comes up and then back. Bump your hips forward to find more length through your left side body. Again, your shoulders should stay square to the right side of your mat. Lift up, 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 and then back. Inhale. Exhale, windmill your hands. Flow through your chaturanga. Excellent work. All right. Meet in your downward facing dog. Inhale here. Exhale, let it go. We're going to flow through that 2 times breath to movement. Go at your own pace. My voice is just a guide. Find those deep inhales and deep exhales and let them guide you. Inhale your right toes high. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, warrior two. Hold for your exhale. Inhale, hinge forward. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, windmill your hands. Flow through whatever version of chaturanga you'd like. Inhale, lift your left toes high. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, warrior two. Hold for your exhale. Inhale, hinge forward. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, plant your hands. Flow through any version of chaturanga. Take notice as you're doing more and more of these. Your body might be getting tired. If you need to go down a level, that is fine. That is absolutely fine. Just listen to your body. We flow again. Inhale, right toes high. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, warrior two. Hold for your exhale. Inhale, hinge forward. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, plant your hands. Find your way to down dog, however you would like to get there. Inhale, left toes high. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, warrior two. Hold for your exhale. Inhale, hinge forward. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, plant your hands. Find your way to your downward facing dog. Beautiful. Breathe in here together. Exhale, let it go. We move on. Inhale, lift your right toes high. Exhale, low lunge. Now stay lifted on your back toes. So press your left toes so much so into the mat that your left heel lifts over your left toes. Imagine you're magnetizing your inner thighs together. Inhale, crescent lunge. Lift up. Your torso lifts. Staying lifted on your back toes makes balance a little more challenging. So just take notice. You can bring your hands to your hips if you'd like. Bring your left hip forward, right hip back. And then sink a little lower. If you need to bend your back knee to stack your shoulders over your hips, I invite you to do so. Maybe you then start to straighten back out. Feel how that lights up your hip flexor a little more. Inhale here. Hold for your exhale. Yes, you can. Inhale. Exhale, warrior two. We've been here before. Spiral your back foot down. Find that same stance. Nice. And then stay here for a couple rounds of breath. How can you deepen? How can you lengthen? Come back to your intention. Inhale, reverse triangle. Straighten your right leg, bump your hips forward, and then your right arm comes up and then back. So you should feel this length through your entire right side body as you're also stabilizing in your legs. So find neutral spine, neutral placement of your hips. No need to bump your hips back. Try to engage your core to lift your shoulders over your hips. Inhale. Exhale, triangle pose. Hinge forward with your straight leg. Right arm comes forward, 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 forward till you can't hinge anymore. And then drop your arms to 6 and 12 one more time. So this is very similar to our extended side angle, except that our front leg is straight. Notice how that changes the sensation. Maybe if you've been working on your triangle, you want to take the weight out of your right hand Maybe you straighten your right arm forward. Feel your core engage. Yes, you can. Wherever you are, keep bumping your hips back. Find your core engagement. Press into your right toes to lengthen. Inhale here. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, star pose. Get big. Take up space. Wiggle your wrists, your hips. Let it feel good. Nice. All right. Toes are out, heels are in. Inhale here. Exhale, horse squat. Sink nice and low. Your knees track over your toes. So even if you can't go as low, stay up if that allows you to track your knees safely over your toes. And then maybe you sway side to side. Find a little more depth. Can you bring your shoulders over your hips? So if you notice, my shoulders are stacked over my hips in horse pose. If I hinge forward, yeah, my hips can get a lot lower, but that's not what we're trying to do. So hug your core in, stack your shoulders. Yes, you can. Inhale, star pose. Exhale, horse one more time. I know this is a lot of inner thigh, inner hip work. Inhale, star. Exhale, horse. Inhale, star one more time. Then parallel your feet with the short edges of your mat. Bring your arms out to a T. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale, wide-legged forward fold. Hinge your body over your legs. Let your hands fall wherever they're comfortable. So maybe they come to the outsides of your feet, the outsides of your calves. Maybe they just come right down on the mat, directly beneath your face. Wherever you are, find more length in your spine. So inhale, halfway lift, just like we did with your chest. Exhale, sink a little deeper. Yes, you can. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, let yourself completely release. See how that added so much depth to your hamstrings? It's pretty wild. And then continue to shift your way into your toes. Feel more of that sensation. Find your breath. In these static postures, our minds tend to wander. So just notice if it is wandering, that's totally normal. And come back to your breath, come back to your intention, come back to this space. Inhale, halfway lift with your spine. And then exhale, runner's lunge to the right. So just spider crawl your fingers as you pivot your feet over to the right. Hands come to the inside of your right foot. And then walk your right toes up and out to the top right corner of your mat. Your right ankle should be in front of your right knee, and you can come down onto your back knee. Sorry, I forgot to say that one. Feel this in both your hips. So this might be very intense in your left hip flexor, might be very intense on your right inner thigh. Wherever you are, just breathe. And if this is too much on your wrists, you can also punch down fists into the ground, especially if you're on carpet like me. I highly encourage that. So that your weight isn't going into your wrists, it's instead sinking into those hips. Our hips hold so much tension, stress, frustration, all those things a lot of us are feeling right now. Just take notice. Inhale. Exhale, let it go. One more deep inhale. Exhale, release. Come back to your palms if you're not already there. Tuck your left toes under, lift up with your left leg. Then inhale, kick your right leg high. Maybe you find scorpion dog, bend your right knee, open your right hip so that it stacks on top of your left. Take some wiggles or shakes with your leg if that feels good, whatever you need. Inhale here. Exhale, come back to your downward facing dog. Beautiful work. Inhale together. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, lift your left toes high. Exhale, low lunge. Again, stack your left knee over your left ankle And this time stay pressed up into your right toes. So stack your right ankle or right heel on top of your right toes. Magnetize your inner thighs together. Imagine they're squeezed together. Inhale, crescent lunge, rise up with your torso. Arms come to frame your ears. And then if you'd like, you can bring your hands to your hips again. Spiral your right hip forward, left hip back to square your hips. Then you can take a bend in your back knee if that allows your hips to scoop under your shoulders. I encourage you to do so. Find your breath. There's a lot of strength in your legs and your core, so much balancing. Wobbles are good. That means you're building strength. Inhale here. Exhale, warrior two. Back to one of our home bases. You've been here before. Get really nice and set up in your warrior two. Can you sink maybe a little deeper in that front leg? Maybe you lengthen your stance slightly. Whatever you need today. Hold for a couple rounds of breath. Come back to your intention. What brought you to your mat today? What is guiding you here? Inhale, reverse triangle. Straighten your front leg, your left leg. Bump your hips forward and then lift your left arm up and then back. Feel length through your entire left side body. Slight bend in your front knee so that you're not locking out your joints. And then keep bumping those hips forward to feel this length. Inhale. Exhale, triangle pose. Now bump your hips back. Hinge, 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 hinge with your left arm until you can't hinge anymore. Then arms come to 6 and 12. Again, slight bend in this front knee. And feel your obliques engage as you gaze up towards your right arm, if that's comfortable in your neck. If not, gaze wherever is comfortable. Maybe if you tried it on the other side, find a little weight in your bottom hand. Maybe your left arm reaches forward. Feel your core engage. Yes. Inhale. Hold for exhale. Inhale, start, pose, get big. Lift up. Again, take those same shakes, wiggles, maybe through your wrists, your hips, whatever you need. Whew. Then toes out, heels in, still inhale. Exhale, horse squat again. Here we are. This time, gently just let your hands rest on your inner thighs. Inhale, lengthen through your spine. Exhale, drop your right shoulder, gaze to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale, gentle twist, drop your left shoulder, gaze to the right. We go one more time. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist to the right. Feel your hips getting deeper. Inhale, come back to horse. Yes, you can. Sink 1 inch lower. Whew. Inhale, star pose. And then parallel your feet to the short edges. Exhale, wide-legged forward fold one more time. You're welcome to stay here in this forward fold. If you'd like some variations, there are 2 different options you can take. So one, if you'd like some more inner thigh stretching, you can just begin to walk your toes out all the way to the short edges of your mat. Come down onto your forearms. This is going to feel really intense in your inner thigh, kind of your groin area. Make sure you're pressing into your pinky toe edge if you do this option. If you'd like a different option, you can actually come a little narrower. Bring your pointer finger and your middle finger around your big toe. Inhale. And then exhale, hinge forward. That's just going to come a little higher up on your hamstring. They're all great options. They just stretch different parts of the back of your leg. So I like to tell you about them so that you can choose in the future what you want to do. This is always your practice. So my yoga philosophy is to just enable you, to do your practice, to do what feels good in your body by giving you lots of options, lots of variations, letting you choose. Wherever you are, Inhale, come to halfway lift with your spine. And then exhale, runner's lunge to the left. Just spider crawl your fingers over to the left side. Pivot your feet. Come down onto your back right knee. Then your hands come to the inside of your left foot. Make sure your left ankle is in front of your left knee. Sink into your hips. If you came up onto fists on the other side, I encourage you to do so on this side. Where's your breath? Especially in hip openers, our mind tends to wander because we're releasing some tension, some frustration, some of those thoughts we've been holding on to. They might come up. But as they do, just acknowledge them without judgment. And then let them go. Come back to your breath. Come back to your intention, your space. Notice the sensation in your hips. Maybe you thank your hips for all the work they do for you throughout the day. One more inhale here. Exhale, let it go. Come back up onto your palms if you're not already there. Tuck your back toes under. Then inhale, kick your left leg high. Maybe you take scorpion dog, stack your left hip on top of your right, bend your left knee. Take any circles, shakes, whatever feels good with your left leg. Inhale. Exhale, come back to your downward facing dog. All right. Inhale here. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, forward fold. We have one more standing series and we cool down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. If we haven't been in our chair pose yet, sink down and back into an imaginary chair behind you. And then imagine you're boogieing your hips down. Boogie your hips down and back, further behind you. You should be able to see all 10 toes in front of you. Maybe they wiggle, say hello. And then release them back down onto the mat. Inhale here. Exhale, eagle pose on the right. So your right arm comes under your left, and then your right leg comes up and over your left leg. So I'm going to show you forward. Your right arm is under your left. Right leg comes up and over your left leg. If you'd like to take a kickstand, you can by releasing your right toes down onto the mat. Wherever you are, lift your elbows up in line with your shoulders and press your elbows out. And then can you stack your shoulders over your hips? So notice my shoulders aren't hinged forward. They're lifted, stacked directly over my hips. Then sink down into your hips. Yes, you can. Inhale. Exhale, gently unwind, release. Whew, let it go. Nice work. Inhale, chair pose once again. Exhale, eagle on the left. Left arm comes under, and then left leg goes up and over. Then again, press your elbows forward and up in line with your shoulders. Then can you sink your shoulders back as if you're sliding down a wall behind you? Stack them directly over your hips. Yes, you can. Know that you can and that you will. Find your breath. One point of focus. One more inhale. Exhale, unwind. Come into gorilla pose. So feet come hips width distance or wider. And then deep bend in your knees. Bring your hands underneath your feet. So your feet are stepping on the palms of your hands. Your toes are kind of wiggling into your wrists, massaging your wrist creases. So just another view here. Deep bend in your knees. Let your head hang heavy. Shift your weight forward. And then you can begin to straighten your legs if that's accessible. There's no need to do that. This might be already a lot for some people. It definitely is for me. Let your head go. Beautiful. Gently release your hands. Toe heel your feet together to touch or keep them hips width distance. Inhale, mountain pose. Come on up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Okay, we're going to move into crow pose. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, crow if it's in your practice. If not, you can take a seat, gaze up here. I'm going to demo, and then we're going to have a little more time to play with it. So, crow pose is just a fun little balancing posture, except this we're balancing on our hands. So we've been balancing a lot on our feet. This time it's on our hands. The way I like to get into crow pose is kind of from that same gorilla posture. So I get nice and low, bend my knees. Imagine my hands are kind of under my feet. Then plant your hands directly in front of you. Notice my elbows. So my elbows are bending back like chaturanga arms. And then I just walk my feet up so that my knees come into my armpits. See how my knee is up on my tricep? It's in my armpit. Then gaze forward and shift so that your elbows stack over your wrists again. Maybe you lift one foot, maybe you lift the other. The key is you have to gaze forward to keep from tumbling, engage your core. Even if you don't lift a leg, that is crow pose. So let's all try it together. Come into your gorilla pose. Nice and deep, bend in your knees, feet are wide. All right, then place your hands directly down on the mat in front of you. Bend your elbows back, like chaturanga elbows, they're bent back. And then just walk your feet up. Maybe this is where you stay. That's such a great place to start. This is where I started, was working my knees up inside into my armpits. If you're feeling it, begin to shift your weight into your palms, stack your elbows over your wrists. Maybe you lift one foot, maybe you lift the other, maybe you lift both. Wherever you are, gaze forward, gaze forward. Yes, to keep from rolling. Beautiful, Daniela. Stay with it. Beautiful. All right, and when you're done, come on down to a child's pose. Child's pose, you can bring your knees out wide, big toes to touch. Release your arms out in front of you. Let go of any expectation you might have had for your crow, and just appreciate, acknowledge wherever you were today. Wherever your body was is exactly where you're supposed to be. If you'd like, you can flip your palms so that your palms face up. Maybe feel a little stretch through your wrists, through your forearms. And then as you're ready, inhale, come up into a tabletop position. Exhale, just release your hips to one side. Bring your feet pressed into the mat. Lower all the way down onto your spine. Amazing work, everyone. You have made it. All right, supine figure 4 is where we're going. So lift your right foot. Your right ankle comes on top of your right knee. This might be enough. The key here is to flex your right toes back towards your right knee and then press your right knee forward so that you're opening through your right hip. If you want a little more sensation, you can lift your left toes, wrap your hands behind your left thigh, feel the hip opening in your right hip. Try to keep your head pressed into the mat so that your spine is long. All the work is just coming from your hip. Try to release the tension between your ankle and knee. So rather than pressing your ankle into your knee, can you just let it sit there and press your right knee open? Inhale here. Exhale, let it go. You can bring your left foot back down. Inhale. Exhale, supine figure 4. So just drop your entire form over to the left. So your right foot presses into the mat, your left knee is still bent, your ankle to knee connection is still happening. You can gaze over your right shoulder, feel that release through your spine, a nice stretch through your right outer glute. If this doesn't serve you, you can just straighten both legs, come into regular supine twist. It's also a great option. Do whatever feels good in your body. Inhale, come back to center. Hug your knees in towards your spine to neutralize. Then press your right knee into the mat. I'm sorry, right foot into the mat. Left ankle comes on top of your right knee. Let's get set up here first. Feel your left knee opening towards the bottom of your mat. Your left toes flex back towards your left knee to protect your knee. If you'd like a little more sensation, you can lift your right foot, grab for behind your right hamstring. Again, this is just an option. All these options I give are just because people's bodies naturally have different levels of flexibility. I've been doing yoga for about 6 years, and there are still just postures that I'm just able to do now because I've built that flexibility, but I still have so far to go to. So no shame if your right foot stays on the mat. That's great. Maybe that's where you need to be today. Stay with your breath. Stay with your intention. Inhale. Exhale, release your right foot back onto the mat. Inhale. Exhale, supine figure four. Drop your entire figure over to the right. This time your left foot is planted onto the ground, but your ankle to knee connection is still there. Gaze over your left shoulder. Feel that nice twist in your spine. Again, if this doesn't serve you, you can lengthen both legs, just come into a regular supine twist. It's a great option as well. If you're in your regular supine twist, just make sure your shoulders stay pressed into the mat. That tells our spine it's safe and okay to twist and allows it to twist naturally. Inhale, hug your knees back into center. Give yourself a little squeeze. Exhale, happy baby. Grab for the insides or outsides of your feet. Your feet stack over your knees. And then kick into your hands rather than pulling down on your feet. If your lower back is pressed into the mat, you can rock and roll side to side. Maybe just a gentle sway. Maybe you take some happy baby noises, flutter your lips, release your face. Maybe you stick out your tongue long. Whatever feels good. Let it all go. This last active posture, get out whatever you need. Inhale, hug your knees back into center. Curl up into a tiny, tight little ball. Thank yourself for all the work you've done. Come back to your intention. Inhale it here. Exhale, release to your final Shavasana. Let your arms and legs go long. Take up as much space on your mat as you can. Eyes can close or soften. And then release through your toes, through your ankles, through your knees, through your hips. Release your belly. Release your ribs. Release your arms. Release your fingers. Release your neck, your head, and let it all go. I will guide you out when it is time, but until then, stay here in stillness and just be. You're welcome to stay here as long as you'd like. But if you'd like to move on with your evening, before any movement, just take a deep, intentional breath in and an intentional breath out. Begin to wiggle your fingers, your toes, bring life movements back into your body, whatever feels good, whatever you need. And then take a big good morning stretch, lift your arms overhead, point your toes as if you're waking up for the first time today. As you're ready, make your way up to a comfortable seat, either by rocking and rolling or rolling onto one side, whatever feels accessible and right in your body. Come back to that same comfortable seat where we started with our class. Take notice if you automatically put that one foot in front of the other, maybe you switch it. Just little changes to your habits, your routines. Yeah. Inhale, bring your hands to heart center. Deep breath in. Audible exhale out together. Inhale, your hands to your third eye center, where you know before you know. Go in light, go in peace, go in love. Bow forward to seal in your practice. Namaste.